already seen a segment of the first 5 profiles of the 10 best interiors, and now we're going to move on to the next 5. Kia Soul was next, and that was the least expensive vehicle on our list this year. Sticker price of $24,000, and the base price on that particular vehicle was closer to 18 or 19, I think.
Yeah, we had the Soul Plus, which is sort of the mid-grade model, but we also had it with the Primo package, which is $3,000, and we got the leather trim seats, the panoramic sunroof, heated front and rear seats, heated steering wheel, navigation. I mean, that vehicle is just filled with so much up-level stuff that you would normally spend like $30,000 for, but it's in a $24,000 Kia.
And a lot of the active safety was included as well, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, one of the stories that I just wrote recently was saying, where do you draw the line between luxury and mainstream vehicles when you're getting a lot of really high-end content on what most of us would consider to be entry-level vehicles.
Right.
There are certain aesthetic features to the Soul that you wouldn't find in a luxury car. The lighted speaker grills and that sort of thing. But still, the content itself, it's really hard to separate mainstream from luxury.
Yeah, and those elements that you just spoke of, I mean, those are one of the reasons we love it so much, because it is a little bit outside the mainstream.
It is.
Had the green
Absolutely.
stitching.
Neon green stitching.
Yeah.
What a hoot.
It's kind of like the Cherokee because it looks like nothing else. I mean,
Right.
you said this is totally unique in terms of the, how it looks and what it does.
It's
Yeah,
very user-friendly, the step-in height. I think it's extremely roomy in all the seating positions.
Good headroom, yeah. And it doesn't feel like an entry-level product.
No,
Not at all.
There were other vehicles that we did get into in this competition that did feel entry-level. So now we move on to the Mazda 3. Again, another somewhat entry-level product that priced at $30,415. As far as I'm concerned, all the other vehicles in that segment really have some tough competition now with the Mazda 3, just because the aesthetics, I think, from the Mazda 6 and the styling, the overall upscale feel of the Mazda 6 has just basically taken one step down to the Mazda 3. And the two-tone leather on the seats, and the premium HMI, and just everything feels just right. The ergonomics are really good. Back seat is fairly spacious. Of course, the seats fold flat. And,
They had head-up, right?
head-up
Yeah.
display in a Mazda 3.
Yeah.
Think about it. Not long ago, you'd only find it on a Cadillac or something. So, but yeah, really nice. Anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just finished well. We'll talk a little bit later about the GTI, but I think in the same sense that there's just the little touches, just enough piano black,
Yeah.
to make it an accent and not overwhelm you, and just enough brushed aluminum kind of look, and carbon
Right.
fiber pieces and things like that
Right.
just kind of bring it upscale.
You
Yeah.
mentioned. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say that I went on the Mazda 3 when they launched it, the press trip, and they spent a lot of time on ergonomics in that interior. They talked about it at length, about the studies they conducted, perfect where everything should be as far as where the driver's looking without distraction, and comfort levels, soft touch surfaces. So, it shows all the work they put into that. It shows
Absolutely.
it paid off.
You mentioned carbon fiber, and as I was looking at all of the interiors, we did see actual carbon fiber in things like the Audi SQ5, and there were several vehicles that did have carbon fiber interior, and then there were some others that tried to replicate the feel and look of carbon fiber. Like I think the Nissan Rogue had like a metallic trim that looked like carbon fiber. It wasn't, but it was close to it. So you wonder, are automakers going to find a way to like replicate carbon fiber without paying carbon fiber prices?
Right.
Because it is it's a great way to set apart your interior. It's, until everybody's doing carbon
Right,
fiber
yeah.
interiors,
Yeah.
then
Move on to something.
it's going to
Yeah.
get boring and they move on to something
Yeah.
else, right?
Yeah.
Mercedes-Benz S550. This was a biggie at $122,895.
But worth every penny.
Yeah.
But worth every penny of it in terms of content and the ability to navigate what you would think would be really complex systems. But man, you could spend days just cycling through and playing with all the different gadgets and gizmos and settings without ever even leaving your driveway is just astounding. The ambient lighting to me is
I knew you were going to bring that up.
I can't forget it. I will see that forever etched in my brain. All the different colors that you can get just by toggling through some switches, and it's almost like a showpiece car. Like they really wanted to show off what they could do, because there's, cars have ambient lighting, but this one, it was everywhere. It was like the entire interior was bathed in
It was like a
ambient lighting.
spaceship.
Yeah. So,
But it was also the quality, just like the speaker covers were like this etched, like kind of
cool
metal.
pattern, right? Yeah.
It was like a piece of art. And you brought up the price at first, and it's a definitely expensive car. But we tested it more, cars that cost more that didn't come close, in my opinion, as far
Yeah.
as interior quality and just overall design.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really love that attention to detail of the speaker cover, and also the seats, the way they perforated the seats. They did it
Yep.
in a diamond pattern. You have to have perforation for the ventilated seat function, but why not do something unique? And they did that, which
Yeah.
I don't think really costs that much more money.
The colors were very light in this particular interior. It was like a cream-colored leather, and the wood also was finished in like a painted metallic material.
Yeah.
I don't know what exactly it was, but it was, it kind of reminded me of the Tin Man. In Wizard of Oz, it was that kind of matte silver finish that just really pops. It was really, really cool.
They had the little pillows on
The pillows on the back
of the dress.
Yeah, that was really something. And those seats reclined too.
Yeah.
I'm trying
Oh,
to
yeah, they
recall.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the front seats massaged, I believe.
They did.
And
Yeah,
that
power
was-
sunshades on the windows.
Mhm.
Power
All the
sunshades,
rear
of
windows, you
course.
could put up the shades.
The Equus had those as well, I think. But so, Dave, what was your take on that car? Was it manly enough for you?
No.
No, of course not.
My macho nature. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a taste, that you're either going to like it or not. I would like to see that car in maybe a more of a black interior, or a little bit more conservative in terms of the color scheme. But yeah, it has everything. I mean, it's an overwhelming technological tour de force,
Yeah.
no doubt about it.
And for what it's worth, when we ask for the interiors for the competition, we do ask for lighter colored interiors just because they tend to present better. So, yeah, I mean, I'd love to see that interior in black, but the ambient lighting isn't going to have kind of the same effect. And of course, as the photographer, it's hard to shoot black interiors. But I can't wait to see some other trim packages on that. So let's move on to one other slightly more expensive car, the Rolls-Royce Wraith, $372,800, but worth every penny of it, right?
Actually, I wasn't able, that's one I wasn't able to get into, but I
You should
heard
have.
all about it, and I
You
saw the
should have.
pictures, and
You should have.
that
It
roof
was-
looks pretty darn cool.
That roof was cool. The headliner kind of, I guess they were just LED lights, right? But it looked
Fiber
like a
optic.
night, a
Fiber
starry
optic
night
LED.
sky.
Yeah.
And it was, it's definitely gets your attention, and
does.
it adds to the overall ambience of the interior, I thought.
And let me just get it on the record that we, of course, are very value-minded here at Ward's. We're not just a sucker for an expensive car. There was also a Bentley Flying Spur in the competition, which was priced lower. We were impressed by it, but there's just something about the aesthetics of this Wraith that, to me, kind of creates a whole new brand image for Rolls-Royce. You always think of the real stuffy image of a Rolls-Royce with the upright grille and the boxy headlamps and just very stiff feeling to it. With this, I mean, of course we're not talking about exterior styling, but very much so I think the interior feeds off of this beautiful exterior styling, which is kind of a fastback, long, sleek look to it. And so then you see it on the outside, and then you see the inside, and it I think those two really match up nicely. And again, kind of cream interior with beautiful accents, and yeah, the lighting. Who could forget the lighting? I've been in plants where they build cars like these, and to see how much time they spend just crafting the wood that they put on the dashboard. You can't call it a dashboard; it's an instrument panel, and they put so much lacquer and so much finish on that wood that you can't even see the grain. So you wonder, well, why do you put wood on it then? Why don't you just make it plastic? Well, because it's a Rolls-Royce and it costs this much money. So it's fascinating to see how cars like this are executed. Of course, the coach-style doors that open with the hinges in back, that's, that just kind of takes your breath away.
And the umbrella injector.
The umbrella
injectors.
in the door jams, yeah. Anyway, and now we move on to the Volkswagen GTI, which is all new, and we just got pricing on it. This one that we tested would have been $30,695, about that much. And then the base price was it $24,000? I think something like that. So GTI really, in my opinion, competing with that Mazda 3 in the compact kind of sporty segment. 4 doors in the GTI. Really, it seems like Volkswagen was taking a rap over the past several years for kind of dumbing down some of their interiors, taking out some of the content, taking out some of the richness, the rich European flavor. And I think they've brought some of that back in now with the new GTI. Really nice styling, beautiful bright red accent stitching. Nice HMI that is easily navigated with just the central knob there.
Had a Fender sound system, which
Fender
was nice.
sound system, yeah.
But I think overall that it was just the kind of an interior that fit the personality of the car. It's a sporty, little hatchback. Like you mentioned, the red stitching, the black seats, VW interiors. Yeah, I know you said that they had some criticism, but I've always found them to be some of the best in the business. And they just because they execute them so well. And I think that, everything was in the right place. I felt very comfortable just driving that car. I didn't feel like I was ever searching for anything or trying to figure something out. Everything was very intuitive. And I had a nice meaty steering wheel. I don't know if you remember that, which is just, I always prefer those, even in a non-sporty car. Back seat was fully functional. There's a lot of room.
Yep.
I know when you were taking your pictures, you noticed the glowing needles on the tack and the speedometer,
Absolutely.
Which are nice little touches like that. I just thought all those, it's not overwhelming, but it's just enough to, differentiate it from the Golf and to make you feel like you're in a sports car or a sportier car.
Right.
And you can still get the plaid seats.
You can still get the plaid seats.
Cool.
Yeah. I was a little bit alarmed to see the GTI arrive with black leather, but yeah. So you can get the plaid.
But it looked like, the GTI's grown up, I thought, that it had that, it's got the leather. It just was finished very nicely again. And, it seems like it's a car it's grown with its audience a little bit.
Absolutely. So our time is up. Is there any other comments anybody wanted to make about the overall field? We had 41 vehicles, of course, in the competition. And luxury cars were the biggest grouping. There were like 20-some, maybe 21 luxury cars, including all the new entry-level luxury cars from Audi and BMW and Mercedes. So it was an interesting competition.
There were no real dogs this year.
No.
Every year there's like
No.
1 or 2, and this year everything was pretty darn good.
Yeah, everybody's raising the competition, and I think it's making it more
Absolutely.
difficult for us.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're going to wrap up now, and thanks for tuning in. And be sure to visit wardsauto.com to read lots of stories about the winners and some of the losers. And we've got other video roundtables that are on there, and all sorts of content about the 10 best interiors.